Just double click on the Tableau icon which is present on your desktop if you have enabled that feature, or it will be in your programs. Okay, so the moment you have double clicked it, this screen will be given to you. This is the first screen that will be shown to you. Please go ahead and do it now. Satvik, a DDL issue is probably you have probably a driver is missing. So just copy that DDL error, put it into Google. It's probably a access driver which is gone missing in your machine. So you need to update it. So that's all. That will be the issue. Just try it out. In case if you're unable to get it, please take that screenshot and put it into help and support. Probably it will be a useful thing that can be done. Everyone got the screen? Abhijit, what you lost? Shilpi Kumari, Seema, what you are not getting, Seema? You will not have any workbooks here because it will be a very fresh page for you guys. I have already created a couple of workbooks. On my public, I have this open space, like which I have workbooks. You should be getting a connect to and this discover and all those things same. Mine is a Tableau public version. Which path, Ruchi? The open page will be blank for everyone because you have not created anything so far. Abhijit, what you are not able to find? In the start, you will be having Tableau Public installed. Do you have it or not? I am showing how to open up your tool. That's all. You have to just double click on. Wait a minute. I'll just recreate what will be. Create a shortcut. All right, you'll be having a kind of link, right? Do you have this on your machine? People who have not able to get to the screen, do you have a Tableau Desktop 10 shortcut on your screens? Yes, no, people who are unable to get it. All right, just double click on that. Just double click. So this opens up a new window for you. That's all. Okay, those who don't have anything in the open part, it will be empty. Why? Because nothing is created so far. I have already created a couple of workbooks, hence it is giving me the links. All right. I have not started anything. We have just opened up the tool. Are everyone on the same page now? Okay. Now, say what are the different places you get data from? What are the different places you get data from? No, no, no. That's about connecting part. I'm just asking the names. Different file formats in which you get your data from. You have your Excel files, you have your CSV files, you have data from your TXT, PDFs, web APIs. You have your SQL servers, you have your data from Access, then what else? Word, okay. You have your JSON, then you have your RDBMS. That is basically your relative database management systems. You have your big data, which is, for example, for that will be your Hadoop. You have your ODBC connections. ODBC is basically a connection, okay? So you have a lot of online data as well. That is you have data coming in from Twitter, Facebook, and everything. JSON, yes, you can also access JSON directly. You have data coming from your SAS, perfect. Google Analytics, yes. So you have data coming from multiple places. If you broadly classify them, okay, you can classify them as under two sections. Either that file, either the data will be on the file, which is basically a two-dimensional thing. You can directly walk in. It's like buying something directly from a store. You just go into it, get whatever you want and come back. That's a file. That's how you access data from a file. You browse to the place where the file is present and then read the data from it. Whereas reading data from a server requires additional steps. What's the first step when you are trying to access a server? A data in a server. What's the first step? You need to make sure that you have a connection established between the tool and the server. So you need the path for it. You need the URL. You need the username and the password given properly so that the credentials, basically a check will be done, and then you will establish a connection with the server, and then you will go to the place where the data is present. That is basically navigate to schemas, and then under a schema or under a place you have all the data in tables. So accessing data on a file and accessing a data from a server are two different things, and hence you can see you have two different options on the connect part. Okay, connect data from a file or connect it using a server. In a server, it's a public version, so you have limited options. In case of a desktop version, you have a list of servers available in the market, the most popular ones available in the market, and you will be you can connect to any one of them. Some of them already have a Some of them already have a inbuilt driver, so there is no requirement for you to download the drivers as well. But some of the database servers require a driver to be downloaded. For example, say you're connecting to Teradata, so you can directly, there will be a link given to you. You can download the driver and have a connection established. All right. So that was about your connect part. So what we will be doing is we'll be doing it using an Excel for time being. So go to file. In that, click Excel. All right. Navigate to the place where you have saved your file and connect to Sample Superstore. Navigate to the place where you have saved your data sources and connect to Sample Superstore. Sample Superstore. Okay, I'll just show you once again. Hold on. Just give me a minute so that I can bring up the window back. Okay, click on Excel. Have you done this? Just click on Excel. Okay, someone had asked, a couple of you had asked how to get it. I have just click on into file, click on Excel. You will get this window. Browse to the place where you have saved your file. My file is right now in a different place. So I have to go to the place where I have saved it. Okay. So I have basically navigated, select that file and give open. That's all is required. Did everyone get this window? Radhika, did you get it? Anyone is not on the same page? Kalyan, the link was shared in the chat window, Kalyan. It's on the data source is on the Google Drive. So just download that entire file. Okay. Kasturi, hold on, Kasturi. There are still people who are unable to go to the place where we are. Ruchi, were you able to get it? Kalyan, the link was just shared to you, Kalyan. Just scroll up the chat window, you get the link. Yes, Ruchi, we need to just select the file, Ruchi. When you download it using Google Drive, it zips all the data sources under one zip folder and downloads. You have to extract the file onto your machine and save it under a new folder which you feel comfortable accessing. In that file, you have around 5 data set, out of which one of them is named as Sample Superstore. It's a Excel file. Right now, I'm showing you an example of how to connect to an Excel file. And once when you have selected it, this window will be showcased to you. Someone was telling, who was that? New union was not there. Who? Can you just tell what you were meaning that? What you meant by that? Okay, Kasturi, what you don't have? You don't have new union. Instead of that, what do you have? Do you have custom SQL there? What do you have, Kasturi? Do you have the three sheets there? Orders, people, and returns. Okay. And then under that, do you have new union? Do you or do you don't? You don't have. Instead of that, what is there? Do you have a custom SQL? Nothing. Okay, so let me just check it and then I'll come back to you. It should be there because it's the new thing that has come in your 10th version. If it is not there, I have to check and let you know. Okay, everyone on the same page? Okay. Now just drag the orders and put it into the place where you have drag sheets here. Just drag the orders and put it in the place where you have drag sheets here like this. You should be getting this window. Alright, Tableau automatically creates a preview of your data. Basically it samples out the data for you and give you an understanding of what is exactly happening. So this window should be there for you guys. Alright, very good. Anyone still not able to get? I have not completed it, Ajay. I'll be coming it. I am going step by step. Which part, Sandeep? Sandeep, do you have this place? Do you have this screen? You have orders. Do you have orders? Drag it and put it into the place. Do you see this drag sheets here option? Just drag and drop it there. Everyone on the same page? See, the method of class will be, I will show you what you have to do, observe what I am doing it, and then I'll ask you to do once again. Alright, so please don't be in a hurry to finish it off. There is no competition over here. So observe what I am doing first. I'll give you time to do it. Alright, that will be the entire course way I'll explain a concept. You will understand it. We will do an exercise. First I will show you how to do it and then you will do it. This is your data source page. Okay, we will get in detail with data manipulations in the later part of the course. Okay, all the terminologies related to your data part will be covered under the data section where everything will be discussed in detail for you guys. So there is absolutely no scenario where you need to panic on the elements present over here. Remember, for time being, this is your data source page and this page will help you to configure your data source. Alright, so right now this is a grid view. You have a metadata view. Do you see this option? The grid view and then a metadata view. Okay, so these two table basically is sampling out everyone. Then you have this sheet 1. Alright, can you see a prompter there telling go to workbook? You have sheet 1. So click on that. You will be arriving at this window. Everyone on the same page now? Radhika, do you see sheet 1 there on the bottom of the screen of your data source window? You have sheet 1. Can you see this? I have pointed an arrow there. Click on that. So this will be your one screen that you have to master Tableau. Everyone got the screen? I hope everyone has got it. Okay, so those, fine. So do you see this data? Do you see this? Do you see this part? Data. So under that, you have all the elements which are related to the data source to which you have connected to. The first is to the data source to which you have connected. So it gives you the list of data sources to which you have established a connection. Make sure that only the used things are, only the data sources that are in use will be opened. If you are getting an internal error, can you just close the entire Tableau once and restart once again, so that that's the only thing. Yeah. So all the data sources will be listed under it. And then do you see under that, next you have dimensions and measures, or you can call it as dimensions and measures. Do you see that? Hold on, Syed, we'll come to it. Now, what's the English meaning of dimension? Can anyone tell me what's the English meaning of dimension? And what's the English meaning of measure? So you have a dimension, okay, and then you have a measure. All right. So basically, what are dimensions? Yes. So basically, dimensions are data which are categorical in nature. Dimensions are basically data which is categorical in nature, whereas measures are elements which are basically numeric in nature, or information which helps in viewing the data or slicing the data. All right. So basically they are what? Slicers. All right. And measures are basically what? On which mathematical operations can be done. Math will be applied on the measures. All right. So if you see any data, it can be, now if you see any data will be broadly classified as these two, right? You have information which is categorical in nature, and you have information which is quantitative in nature. It might be data coming from any data sources. These are the basic two things you can find. All right. So Tableau has an inbuilt algorithm by which it puts various columns of your data source under either dimensions or measures. Say I ask you to get 4 chocolates. Okay. I ask you to get 4 chocolates. So you get 4 different chocolates. So you can individually tell this is chocolate 1, this is chocolate 2, this is chocolate 3, and this is chocolate 4. Everyone agrees? Say now I ask you to get a liter of milk. Okay? I ask you to get a liter of milk. So can you take out some of it out and tell, say you take a sip, you just take a little bit of milk out and tell, can you tell it's a liter of milk? Can you just take a spoonful of milk from the container and tell it's a liter of milk? You cannot, right? The liter of milk is this entire quantity constitutes together as 1 liter. You cannot take a part of it and tell this is 1 liter. It's a part of it. So your elements can either be like this or it can be like this. If you can individually separate, sorry, each element, okay, and give its own space, then it will be what? Discrete in nature. Elements which can have its own space, right, will be discrete. They'll be called as discrete. Individually I can represent them. They have their own placeholders. Whereas elements which cannot be represented like this, like, you cannot distinguish between element 1 and element 2. Like, how can you tell, this if you say, for example, a river is flowing through various states, you cannot tell this river belongs to this state and this river belongs to this state. You cannot differentiate the waters of one state and the water of the other state. Or you cannot tell this is the upper part of the milk and this is the lower part of the milk. You cannot tell, you cannot just take the milk from the bottom and put it on top and tell you have sorted the milk, right? So certain elements will be represented as a range, and in those elements will be called as continuous. Alright, so by default, all your measures will be continuous in nature, and by default, all your dimensions will be discrete in nature. But there is no hard and fast rule that a dimension should always be discrete and a measure should always be continuous. You can make a dimension behave continuous, and you can make a measure behave discrete. Is this part clear for everyone? Tableau puts your data under two major sections. One is your dimension and one is your measure. All the categorical information will be under dimension, and all the numeric information on which mathematical operations can be done will be under measures. By default, all the categorical information are discrete in nature. Like, discrete in the sense means what? You can individually place them under their respective places, like north, east, west, south. Alright, so you can place them separately. Whereas you say you take sales, it's a number for you to come to that number, it's a quantity that has to be represented over a range, so that will be continuous in nature. By default, all your dimensions are discrete, and by default, all your measures are continuous. But there is no 100% or there is no hard and fast rule that your dimensions should always be discrete. You can make the dimension to behave as a continuous entity, or you can make the measure to behave as a discrete entity. Is this clear now, Srinivasan? All right. So now we'll do an example and then you can understand what are the things. All right. Now, what I want you to do is double click on sales, which is under your measure. Okay, under your measure, you have sales. Double click on that. What did you get? Now you have got a bar graph. Alright, everyone has got a bar graph, and the bar graph represents the total sales. Everyone got it? What else has Tableau created for you? Apart from a bar, what else do you recognize? There is a scale. Alright, do you see there is a scale there? What's one more word for scale? Axis. Alright, so sales is a measure and it is a continuous entity. So whenever a continuous entity is used in Tableau, a axis will be generated. Is this point clear? Whenever you bring in a continuous entity, a axis is generated. All right. Now, hold on, Priyanka. We have not come to that part. We will come to it. Now, double click on ship mode. Double click on ship mode. What happened? The sales bar graph, which was just one bar, got split into 4 bars, right? Sales, which was earlier as one bar, got split into 4 bars. So what do you infer by this? What was the earlier one and what's the present one? What's the difference between these two? What was the first one and what's the second one? It's okay, Tejasvi, no problem. The way at which you looked at sum or looked at sales changed, right? Earlier it was total sales. Okay, this was total sales across the entire superstore. Now we are seeing sales with respect to what? With respect to ship mode. So it is sales at the level of ship mode. So this is called as level of detail. Got the point? So if someone asks you at what level of detail your sum of sales is, so your answer will be it is at the ship mode. Alright, so at what level your sales will be, so it depends on what dimensions you have used. So your dimension right now, your dimension is ship mode, hence your sales is getting represented at ship mode level. Ruchi, is this fine now? Alright, so what has ship mode given to you? What has ship mode generated to you? What has ship mode generated? You have got 4 elements, right? You have your first class, same day, second class and standard class, right? So those are called as headers. They are called as headers. So any element which is discrete in nature will be generating headers. It's not access. So the second term which you learned now is headers. One is access for continuous and headers for discrete. Headers are nothing but those labels which you find. Rajan, Rajan. Do you see the headers here? Do you see the names over here? First class, same T, second class, standard class. Those are your headers. So anything which is discrete in nature will be generating headers. Is it fine? All right. Now, before you created anything on the sheet, this sheet looked blank. It was white in color. All right. What's the material on, say a painter paints something? What's that called as? It's called as canvas. All right. A similar way, this space is called as canvas. Okay. Anything on a canvas is called as a mark. The white space is called as a canvas, and anything on the canvas is a mark. What kind of mark do we have on our canvas now? What kind of mark do we have our canvas now? It is a bar. Okay, so if you want to manipulate the bar graph, if you want to manipulate the mark type, so anything on the canvas is called as a mark, and you will be manipulating the marks using marks card. Okay, so the marks card is present right over here. Can you see there's a marks card here? It's a shelf. It's a marks card shelf. So you have a marks card. Under that, you have your drop down. Okay. These are your mark types. These are your mark types. So these are the only available mark types in Tableau. These are like your alphabets in English. How many alphabets in English do we have? How many alphabets? 26. Everyone are confirmed? Is it 26? Or 27? Or 24? Oh, good. All are giving a single answer. Imagine with just 26 alphabets, we are still trying to get a grasp of English. Imagine people from Japan. They add new characters whenever they're unable to, you know, represent something. So their alphabets go on increasing. Think of Chinese where they have 2000 alphabets, 2000 sounds, written sounds. In that way, we should be thankful that we dealt with only English. So these are your alphabets. So now right now it is bar. Change it to say circle. In the mark type, change it to circle. So the mark type has changed to circle. If you even say you can manipulate, say I will text, I'll get text. So make it into circle. Everyone done? All right. So next time when I ask you to change the mark type, you should not be doing a treasure hunt in Tableau. You should be hitting the bullseye. Alright, keep it in mind. Mark type, the option is here. Sandeep, I didn't get you. Why? What happened? What you're not getting, Sandeep? What you're not getting? Alright. Now, say you go to a wedding. Okay? How difficult is it to identify the bride in the wedding? Everyone agrees it is not at all a difficult thing to identify the bride in the wedding, right? Because the bride is the most, you know, jubilant lady on the entire floor. How is that? How is she made jubilant? How is she made jubilant? The dress and the makeup, her clothing, right? And the jewelry, everything is out of the world, right? So, say next time, this is a challenge, open challenge. Next time, take a female friend of yours. You you get her ready in such a way that she looks one notch higher than the bride and take that lady to the wedding. What do you think will happen? What do you think will happen? Confusion for whom? Groom should not be confused, man. Come on. Groom should stick. That will be a test for the groom. So there will be a murder and then a wedding, right? The bride will come down from the dais, then the murder will happen, and then the wedding will happen. Why? No one should steal that moment from the bride. That's her life moment. So if you carefully observe, the color plays a very important role. If you want to grab our attention of something in the entire lot, color it in the most brightest way, right? Say in Indian weddings you have brides wearing the brightest colors. In a Christian wedding you have the bride wearing the exquisite gowns, the elaborate gowns. For example, Diana, right? In her wedding, you should look at her gown, my God, right? So you have that color which brings that differentiation. So what I want you to do is drag profit and put it into colors. Just drag profit and put it into colors. Look at the screen. I'm just dragging it and then dropping it directly into colors. And this should happen in your screens as well. Do it now. What changed? Shaker, drag profit which is in your measures and drop it into colors. If you carefully see the circle, no, do you think you need to be adding any labels or anything to tell that this particular shift mode has the highest profit? It is very easy on the eyes, right? Anyone who is looking at the screen can easily come to know that this particular shift mode has the highest profit. Like, so the moment you have added into profit, do you see a color legend appearing on the right hand side of your screen? Do you see a color legend? Alright, the moment you add anything into colors, a color legend is created. This is a color legend, remember. In case if you are not satisfied with the color, Rajesh, it will be hiding under show me. Just click that show me, it will go back. Okay, if it is like this for you, is it like this for you, Rajesh? Click on show me, just click on show me, it will be hiding beneath it. Alright, so anything if you add into color, it will create a color legend. In case if you're not happy with the color of choice, you can click on the down arrow of the color legend. There you have edit colors. Use this, or you can directly click on the colors and there you have edit colors. You can choose this. You have a color palette from which you can choose a plethora of colors you want to use and you can go with it. Okay, so we'll come to colors in detail, but this is the option present. Alright, everyone got it? There is one important thing. Reserve the brightest colors to highlight the most important thing. Just because you can color them the way you want it, don't color everything bright. It's useless. So reserve the brightest colors only to highlight the most important aspect of your visual. Okay, keep this in mind. Then now drag sales and put it into size. Drag sales and put it into size. Do it now. What changed? The size of the circle has changed. The diameter or the radius of the circles have changed, and that has changed based on the sales that particular ship mode has achieved. Higher the sales, bigger the circle. Now it makes even more easier for your eyes to understand that something of great importance is happening in standard class. Not only is it giving you the highest profit, it is also generating the highest sales. Alright, so say you have an your entire family is of the normal average height, and your cousin is the shorter one.